Portland Rotor radar station. The Portland Centimetric Early Warning, or CEW radar station, was constructed by contractor Robert McAlpine in 1950 and went operational by 20th of February 1953. It consisted of a single-story R1 operational block accessed from a non-standard design guardhouse bungalow built of local Portland stone. Initially, Type 14 mobile radars were brought in to replace the old World War II Type 54 radars, which were located at the Verne. In April 1956, the AN-FPS Type 3 radar was removed and taken probably to Ventnor, and the station diminished in importance. And after other radars were dismantled, by June of 1956, the station was declared non-operational. The site was then taken over by the US Air Force, who built a microwave relay station within the fenced enclosure. They did not, however, use the underground bunker, which was damaged by fire in 1969, while the USAF was still present on the site. At 70 feet below ground level, it was the deepest Rotor underground facility, and instead of the usual steps at the rear of the guardhouse and a long sloping tunnel into the bunker, Portland was equipped with a lift and an iron staircase winding around it. The emergency exit consisted of a standard emergency stairway in two sections joined by a solid length of floor. In October 2001, the MOD offered the site up for sale by auction, and shortly before two public open days, they stripped out the lift and surrounding stairs, which were perfectly safe. They also stripped out the emergency stairs, which were not safe, and all the wooden flooring. They filled in any cableways in the main corridor and installed a 70-foot caged vertical ladder for access. Most of this safety work was considered totally unnecessary. 6 radar plinths still survive on the surface, together with the emergency exit blockhouse now sealed, a communications mast, gatehouse, kennels, and the old USAF microwave buildings, which is now used as a restaurant for the farm which is on the site, and a reservoir built in the 1980s to serve the dockyard. We were given exclusive, unrestricted permission to visit the bunker, but please note, I had to have my own insurance to visit, so please bear this in mind before making any inquiries. going in. Yeah.
Oh no, it's not that deep.
As soon as you get to the bottom of the second ladder,
Yeah.
there's a breeze block, strategically placed breeze block to step on so you don't fill your boots up with water.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
That's a very good bright torch.
Yeah, that's not on the brightest either.
Is it really?
That's the brightest.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, come and have a look. Now he's got a torch. Not too high. You want to go down that ladder?
No chance. I thought I'd be alright, but my legs went to jelly.
Go down, Brooke?
No.
No?
No.
Whatever that is. In the main corridor, after the first glass doors, you've got bits where they've taken the floor up and backfilled it with stone.
Right.
Some of that has fallen away.
Okay.
So there's knee kill. Ouchies.
Okay.
You fall down the holes. Don't fall down the holes.
No, I'll try not to. Okay. Brilliant. Right. I've got a gas meter with me as well, so
There's no gas down
there's no gas, no. But there's no hydrogen sulfide either, is there?
Nothing.
Hopefully. Well, I'll get an alarm on my thing if there is, so I should be all right.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a pulley up there. Like,
Yeah. So there was a cage here, I believe. There was a cage going all the way around the lift, and there was a spiral staircase going down the side.
it was just straight stairs down.
Oh, it went round the edge.
It went round the walls.
Yeah, you can see it there, look. So it went down the walls, down.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And yeah, and the left went down the middle.
Wow. Well, I've been waiting to see this for years, so this is going to be really enjoyable. I was in another one at Beachy Head the other day, and that's now been sealed up by concrete. Turn this off. So that was literally, we got there, we heard it was open, and they're coming, well, they've probably done it by now, filled it up with concrete so it won't be seen for another 30, 40 years until somebody else gets in there.
Yeah, this one's... You got
Gloves?
gloves?
Yes.
Only because you get about halfway down the first ladder,
Yeah,
and then the ladder's wet, condensation.
sure.
It's just yuck.
Yeah, it's not very nice when you're going down. So putting my bag over the edge and sending it down. There he goes. Over the drop, and it's dry at the bottom, is it?
No, so I'm going to hold it.
Oh right,
Well,
you're going to hold it whilst I grab it
because
down the bottom.
That's where it hits the bottom, is when it gets to the...
Ah
the
right.
right.
So it could just be levitated off the bottom of it then.
Yeah.
We are going down. So this is the scary shaft. With a couple of light switches, and look, this is it, folks. This is it. Portland Rotor bunker, here we come. Look at that. Isn't that something? And it's a bit moist at the bottom.
Just use my normal email address. No, Sue, especially, at portlandvale.com. Yeah.
There we go. Here we go. So we're halfway now, and there's Sue up there, and she's got my bag. Is on a bit of rope, and here's all the wires. Look on the wall. So that's wiring. Let's get down anyway.
Right. Right.
GPS signal lost.
My GPS signal is lost apparently. Here you go, folks. Right, so we're standing on a breeze block. Gets a bit damp. Oh my god, look at this, folks. Look at this.
Yeah, or as they'll have to follow them Monday.
Wow. Let's get my bag then. And there's my bag.
Oh, right, yeah. No, that's fine.
Hanging in the air.
Yeah, but
Whoa, it goes downhill. This entranceway goes downhill. Wow. That's amazing. Let me just see if I'm recording on my 360. Yes, I am. It's recording.
yeah.
So there you go. That's the way in.
No. Give me a second, Aaron. Are you down?
Yes, I am.
How far down do you need that bag?
About another 9 foot. Okay. I've got my hands on it now. So you can just let it drop if you want. That's it. Okay, got him. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. See you later. Right, so got my bag. Let's just set up my decent camera because this little camera is not going to do the magic justice. So we definitely need my big one for this. Let's go. Recording, it does help, doesn't it? Yeah. So I have just climbed down from here and we are in this bunker, which is the Portland Rotor bunker, and around the walls you can see where the stairs would have been. So that would have been all around the side going up, and in the center going around the stairs was the lift shaft. So the stairs went all the way around the edge with the lift shaft in the middle. But guess what, folks? This is where the fun starts. Look at that. Look at all these cable tracks. Look at that. That is something. And then comes down into all this cable ducting, and this is actually the way in, downhill. Now that is something. That there, folks, is definitely something. So let's go and have a look. We have exclusive access. We can spend as much time as we want. We're going to make sure we get as much of this documented as we can. And I've got my 3D camera, 360 camera, and my A7s. So I don't think anyone else has got it like this, because I think most people's videos, like the television company, it was a bit more like that. So yeah, we don't like that. We like this. We like to see things properly. So, oh, I forgot. I've got to turn my extra torch on the back of my head on so we get a view to the back. So we've got front torches and we've got back torches. So the 360 is covered. We don't want you to miss anything here. Wow, this is a big tunnel. This is very big. This has got the concrete lagging, which is like the stuff that you fireproof with. You can see it's broken away. Oh, you are kidding me. Oh, really? Guess what, folks? My battery's run out on my gimbal. It's alright, I've got new ones, but we got to go back up and we got to start again. Amazing.
A few moments later.
Wow, we got like a junction box or something on the right hand side. It's a fuse box, perhaps for emergency lighting or something. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, fuse box, slightly more modern, but they've definitely gone. Not very good. There's a bit of moisture on the things. You can see drippers there. Here we go. Starting to get a little bit more moist on the floor. We've got slightly more modern emergency lighting, and some of the original cables still here. Some of the cable ducting here. And there's the view back up from where we just came. Amazing. It's very still down here. There's no noise. Here we go. Power room. First thing we're coming to. So we've got those shutters, which we've seen in many rotor bunkers. It's all the same, but this one's got its transformer look. The transformer has not been stolen, as it is in so many other places. So we've got power in, and then power to the transformer. And there's the shutter doors, and all of that is before you get into the bunker itself. So they keep the transformer out here. Now you can see what looks like a stepping. It's a stepping up of these concrete pillars, and it gets higher. Can you see where it steps up? The big old blast doors, which have still got their sealers on them. Look at that. Still got the rubber seals. Amazing. So, Rob 2010. Look, somebody was in here in 2010. So, yeah. Dave Hope, decommissioned January 2000 by DLP Limited and Hayden's. So again, we've got it's got higher ceiling here, so it's gone up in height from the way we walked in. Whoa, there you go, folks. So it's a long corridor. We've got a fire pipe here, which probably would have gone to a round hose, fire hose. I was warned to watch the floors because you can go through, I was told. Wow. So this is the command room, which is like we saw in Beachy Head. Same sort of stuff on the walls. I would say slightly better condition as well. And more of these iron girders. I think the girders were taken out in Beachy Head. You should have a good view of that now. So yeah, there we go. And across this side we've got power ducting, and probably this was to do with sending the signals through, so that's signal ducting, I expect. You've got venting on the corners, in the corners of each room, those yellow or creamy coloured vents. And on the floor we can see evidence of the tube vents, some of which seem to have been sealed up. 50% of them have been sealed up. So they've got little blanking plates on them. Yep. So there's been some work done to put things to stop people trying to go into these rooms. Not that there's much in there that you'd want to see, but yeah. Oh look, we've got an original fan control unit, look, and it says main fan, high speed, normal fresh air, apparatus cooling, and gas fan. For this room. And you've got the bulb that goes in there is the bulb that's the starter. It's the starter bulb for the fluorescent tubes, because they used to use a bulb as a starter back in the day. Just checking out for the 360. So more of the original rooms, and it's just a bit damp on the floor down there. So and we've got a small area which might be the toilets. I was going to say it's probably the toilets. It's practically the same design as Beachy Head. Even the urinal is in the same place, which is pretty amazing, isn't it? The urinal is in the same spot. And so there we are. And we have a non-destroyed toilet. It has not been destroyed, yes. Nice to see things in a kind of working state. Oh, did I bang my 360 or did I not? And there's the ladies' toilets going in. I don't know if this is if it's had a fire damage or something, because it's sooted. It's sooted in here. Now whether that soot has had some fire damage or whether it's just good old long time dirt is unknown. So there's the female toilets. But I get the feeling that there's a possibility they may have had something, maybe a light fire down here. Hard to know. But if they'd had a fire, I wouldn't understand how it had not taken out some of these bits of wood. Now that's an interesting room, isn't it? That's the gallery. That's a gallery looking down from up there. That's a wooden gallery. I don't know whether we'll be able to get to that.
So here we're going to switch over from my normal filming to a clip from the 3D edition where I have a look into this gallery, which turns out to be a gallery / projector room. So the 3D edition will be coming out soon, but this is a clip from it.
There you can see the edge of the gallery room. So it's going up at an angle. It's going up at an angle, but then above it there's a walkway around the edge. Now that is probably not very safe, but we shall see, because we like a challenge. Oh look, there's a hot water boiler. I missed this, and I also missed the walk up to this gantry up here. So oh dear. Right, let's get that head torch on. Let's go for climb. What's up here then, folks? Is a gantry. Wow. It's just a walkway on top and an air pump. So let's get up here and we'll show you what's here. It's a bit of an odd space. I've not seen a space like this one in these bunkers before, not like a little gantry like this. It's weird. Wonder what would have been up here then. Got a little bit of air pumping equipment going on here. But what was the purpose of having this space up here? Just a bit of extra space. Funny, huh? Funny. Wow. It overlooks the area into the rooms below. So let's go down and walk further along before we get into the mode of light switches. Oh, I think they could pay the bloody electric bill. Dear, dear. These bloody bunkers, they never pay the electric bill. So, lots of the floors all gone here. Probably wooden floors in their day. Just rotted through. I'm imagining that's what's going to be the case up here with this in a second. And you can see the balcony here. Can you see the balcony up there that you walk around? It's definitely a balcony. It's definitely a balcony, but why? Where do you get up? Is it actually in this room? I'm going to have a quick look around the corner and see if we can see the way up. Let's have a quick look. Ooh, that sump is evil. Oh my god, that sump is so deep. That is really deep. Oh my god, I can see the stairs. There's no way we're getting up there. Do you know why this sump is so deep? That goes down into the abyss. And I know why that goes down into the abyss. I think I do. I think I know why that goes into the abyss. I'm guessing because some of these rotor bunkers used to have a very deep projection pit. Now I think they've got rid of the projection pit because the projectors would have been right down there, projecting upwards. So these people on the gantry who were walking around on the gantry would see on this area, they would see an image. But I think that they've changed it and they've put these I-beams in later. They've put these I-beams in later. Now, because look, there's air vents as well. That kind of proves a point. Why would they have air vents going down into the abyss, going down there into the abyss? And it's because all the projectors that were down there, which were probably arc projectors, probably needed to be cooled. So there's a vent over there in that corner, and there's this vent here. And you wouldn't have that for a sump, would you? You know, somebody was meant to climb down into this lower space and operate and service the projectors which were shining up. But I think they probably just changed the design of this room so they no longer had the projectors down underneath, and they just probably had a plotting room or something in here. And God knows when this when they last used the gantry, but does the gantry go back around to where I am? No, it doesn't. Oops, focus, there you go. Focus, but those stairs, wow. Those stairs have long disintegrated, and I would imagine that because all of this gantry is made out of wood, that realistically you wouldn't be able to walk. You wouldn't be able to walk there because you'd just fall through. So this is a no-go. But it definitely is a balcony gantry room. Very interesting, isn't it? So let's get out of here, take you somewhere else.
But before we go looking somewhere else, let's have a look at the Kelvin Hughes projectors, because this was a way prior to video projectors that they were taking small 1 or 2 foot wide radar screens and projecting them onto a wall. But how did they do that? Because they didn't have video projectors in those days. They had film projectors. So this is what they found, a hybrid between a film projector and a CRT tube, a television tube. And it's more ingenious than you may at first think.
The portals to the deep shelter So called because it is about 40 or 50 feet below ground, originally made for protecting fine instrument making work during the early days of the war. And it was subsequently utilised as a test facility for a photographic display equipment which was designed here as part of the early warning radar chain, most of which are located fairly deep underground.
One of the things I got involved with was once again a highly secret device, which was called the 35mm projector. Now this is a device which takes a picture of a cathode ray tube, radar set, takes a picture onto film, develops, fixes, washes and dries in about 10 seconds, and then click, projects it onto a screen 12 foot square. So a dozen, 50 people sit and watch this screen, and this was the result of the long-range radar sets which we had around the country, called Rotor sites. None of them exist as far as I know today, but there were dozens of them throughout the country, and they were characterised by these huge antennas rotating.
Look, there's on the top of this, have a look up folks, have a look, there's a gantry. I don't know if that's meant to be used. You can walk on top. I have no idea, that's interesting. Not seen that like that before. So head down coming into these rooms to make sure we don't hit the camera. I'm going to bring the camera down a bit actually because it's a little bit yeah, I don't know if it's, don't even know if it's recording actually folks. Let me just investigate. Is it recording? Yes it is. But it doesn't make any noise, so it's hard to know. So oh god, very hard to operate with one hand. So you've got this room here. Oh, serving hatch. Wow, look at that, serving hatch. That's something you don't see very often. So again, there's a lot of sort of dark tarry type slime. It's like tar, but no, there's no smoke per se up on the ceiling, so I don't know whether it's some sort of black mold or something. Air's very still down here. There's no real particulates in it. It's quite, but again, you know, black slime and female toilets. And small vents. Now that vent there would have been an exhaust vent for the incinerator. There would have been an incinerator there, I think, for the female hygiene, burning of feminine hygiene products. So there's a lot of funk and weird stuff on that that door there. So let's get around the corner and have a look. Light switches. Don't think that's something we've seen in the others, and they still serviceable. And we've also got a spinner for a vent here to open and close the vents. It still works. Still works as well. To open and close the vents. Now, this, I don't know what this is. This looks like a serving hatch for food or bits and pieces. Now have a look at this. This is something we don't see very often. Have a look at that. Look, those are like power sockets, but there's a light on them as well, which tells you something. Maybe it tells you whether the power's turned on or off or whatever. Look at this mess though. Makes you think. That's soot. It's like soot. Maybe there was some sort of limited fire in here. We will have to ask. And across here we have some more rooms. Yeah, oh wow. So they've actually got some of the old equipment in here. Now, it says it's an asbestos hazard, but as we know with asbestos, it's probably in this wall bit here, look. It's actually on that wall bit. So here in this room, as long as we don't touch anything, we should be okay. But look at all this equipment, folks. Vintage, look, it's still got the bands on the motors. The motors are, I think those are pumps, green pumps behind. So those are the pumps. So this would have been air conditioning equipment really, to keep the place cool. Because there would be so much electricity in here, it would be hot, and really all you're trying to do in these bunkers is keep things cool. You're not really worried about heat. Heat is the last of the things you need in a place like this. It's all about keeping it cool. So these have been air conditioning pumps probably. So there we are. It says main air fan, canteen extractor. Canteen extractor, plant room, fan, plant room, apparatus. So, don't know what this is. This could be a chilling humidifier or something like that. And it's saying warning, this object contains asbestos, so definitely not to be touched then. And we've got the filters. Yeah. And up there, those green pipes, it says apparatus cooler. So that's cooling, and the filter room, and all the filters, replacement filters here. So then I think this is probably the chiller unit, which would probably spray water into this chamber and then run. It would also then run a lot of air through it, so it would be spraying water whilst running air. And that's an air filter unit. Filter unit. So right up to the back, and you can see the pipes going in there, and the pipes would have been to spray the water. The water I think it should serve two purposes, because by spraying water in and letting the water run down whilst passing air through it, it would take out any dust particles in the air because they'd become attached to the water, and it would also provide the cooling. So there we go. You can see the big old water pipes here going in, and big pumps going along there. And pumps were made by Bull Company. So there we are. And there's your power switches on the wall over there. Shall we have a look inside? This is made by the Watford Company. Wow, look at that. These are actually rheostats. These are rheostats which turn and give you different amounts of voltage, so it can be varied, so you can turn it up or down. And this is a motor here. You see this? See this mechanism here? This is a motor which drives this, which goes right the way through here, and as it does, it basically then turns, and these brushes make contact, and depending on which way it turns, it's like a massive variable light switch, you know, like you get in your room when you turn a light up and down. It's like that. You turn it, except instead of being a little turny switch, the turny switch is actually going through 3 of these massive coils, and that's your turner, and that turns the coils. But it's probably all completely seized up now. Yes, it is. And there's one there, and possibly one below as well. Yeah, there's one down there. So this is about varying the power. This is all about varying the power. Okay, so you can turn it from high power, medium, low, off. So you want to be able to, you know, vary the speed of the fans. And here's contactors over here. These are contactor switches. So these would switch into place like that. Can you see? Let's just make sure you can see. So with a little bit of electric energy, it would energize a coil which was magnetic, and the magnetic coil would bang, pull the contactors. So they could be switched on and off. With a small amount of power, you control a huge amount of power, because these are for handling massive power, but you only have to put a small amount of power in to get it to rock back and forth. So those are rocker contacts. And I'm wondering where the control mechanism is for the turning it up or turning it down. You know, where does it get turned up or turned down? You know, the speed. So is it turned up or down automatically, or is it turned up and down by somebody actually controlling it? Interesting, huh? Interesting stuff. And up here you've got the heat rheostats. So those are resistor packs up there, and those resistor packs inside, they burn off the heat. So they burn off the excess heat that alters the voltage. So you basically trade off the voltage, turn it back into heat, and you can lower the voltage that way. So you've got current control and you've got voltage control. So again, we've got pumps here, and this is made by Teddington Company, it's called. And it says it's a modulating unit. So that's interesting, isn't it? We've got the pumps and lots of, you know, big old pumps there, which you've got a gear reduction system. So a lot of turns on the right hand pulley mean a smaller amount of turning, but with a lot more pressure, a lot more, you know, torque. So this one spins very quickly and it turns that power into a slow turn here, and that slow turning high torque power is to operate these pumps. And those pumps would be, I don't know what they would be for water, probably water, but I'm assuming it's part of a pressurization system for cooling, but not in the way that we do it these days, where they use Freon and it's like a refrigerator. This would have probably just been for pumping water, to spray water through the air cooling system, where it humidified, took the dust out of the air and all the rest of it. But I don't know, because I don't think they were using refrigerants in the same way. Tell us in the comments if you know I'm wrong, and I probably am wrong. Now up here you've got some interesting things. These probably light up, but they're fuses at the same time. They're probably fuses. But there's little capsules in each one of these, and I imagine as long as you see the light is on in each one of those, you know you're in business. Now there's pipes going into the underneath. Can you see the pipes going up and in? So I imagine that they're probably feeding a pressure signal, so they're telling you what the pressure is and whether your pumps are working hard enough, and if the pressure is right, your light may not come on perhaps. And if your light comes on, there's a problem. Or, what would be safer, because you just don't know if the bulb is broken, imagine if the bulb is broken, the light will never come on, so you'll never know something is unsafe. So I imagine they probably do it in reverse. Okay, so what they probably do is they keep the light on if things are safe, and if the light goes out for any reason, either the bulb was blown or it's unsafe, so the pressures are unsafe. So I would imagine they work it in reverse, because that way they're not going to make a mistake. Now this thing down here, as we can see, it actually says on it, it's a Teddington thermostat. So that's the thermostat, and these are the little temperature pipes going into the thermostat, and this thing here is a control where you can turn. Look, it moves up and down, look. Can you see that? Hang on. Can you see in there, as I spin that, it goes 50, 40, so you can set the temperature that you want the switches to come on or off, and those probably go into those big relay cabinets. So when the temperature comes up enough, it'll switch the relay cabinet on or off to supply more or less heat. So this thing here is telling what the heat is inside this big chamber. Then that passes that along to the relay cabinet, which turns the big fans on or off, and that's how they control the heat. And here's another one. Here's another temperature controller, look, but this one doesn't have the window in it, but it has the little set unit, so you can set it, but it doesn't have the window, so you can see what the temperature is set to. That's another thermometer. Right, what else have we got in here? Pressure gauges, valves. Yeah, and in this lining here, this cladding, that's where the asbestos is. So you don't want to go messing with that lining. Basically, that would be very naughty. But there we are. Asbestos, if left alone and not kicked up into the air, is not too bad. So again, asbestos hazard in here. They used to use a lot of asbestos in electrical switches and electrical contacts. So again, they're saying caution, but I think we know what we're doing. So we'll go and have a quick look. I know what not to touch. So we've got the sump pump, pillar drill, main switching workshop, red grindstone switch fusing workshop, yellow spare, blue spare, compressor in sump room, and a spare. So yes, inside these switch boxes, it's warning that there are traces of asbestos. So you've got a lot of the oil has spilled out from the transformer mechanism. The oil has spilled down and dribbled onto some of these bus bars. Oh. So yeah. I don't know if my my 360 has gone off, so let's have a look. Let's have a little look. Has the 360 gone off? As it does. As it does. So here we've got these switch connectors. Now I won't do it because by switching them you're probably going to release the asbestos. I'm not going to actually attempt to operate any of those switches. Oh, this is interesting. You've got your amp meter and voltmeter, and these controls here allow you to select whether you're looking at the red phase, the yellow phase, or the blue phase, which are the three phases of power that come in. Because this would be a 400 volt system probably, and you have red phase, green phase, blue phase for industrial equipment. So you can check on the meters. So if you want to use these voltmeters down here and you want to know what's going on the red phase, you change it to red, and you know, you've got your ammeter, and yeah. But this is the outside supply, so this tells you what you're drawing in from the outside world, from the outside supply, and this one at the bottom tells you what you're doing on the standby supply. Yeah. So, and then you've got pipes and bits and pieces there. But yeah, this is inside. It's inside your fuse room. Oh, here we are. Lighting in men's restroom, it says. Let's have a look at this. Lighting in men's restroom, women's restroom, canteen, women's toilets, lighting in men's toilets and stores. 3, lighting in switch room. 4, fluorescent lighting in rooms 3 and 4. 4, fluorescent lighting in rooms 3 and 4, wall brackets in room 3. 5 is lighting on emergency exits and stairways. 6 is a 50 volt charger, and 50 volts I think was used by the military. Military used to use 50 volts in mobile vehicles and things like that, so that's probably what the 50 volt is. Then you've got twin fluorescent fittings, spares, lighting in the rear of plant room. This one is 15 amp switching for incinerator, so that's the incinerator in the women's toilet. There we are. Pilot switch unit in canteen, pilot switch unit in canteen. So I wonder if that's what that little light was, the pilot switch. That's why they had that red light on, those little red crystal lights. And I said, I wonder what those are. They're probably pilot switches in the canteen. So there's 2 of them, and there's 2 fuses on this box, look. So there's a switch plug in the women's restroom, switch plug in the men's restroom, switch plug in room 3, switch plug in room 4, switch plug in stores. And written down on here is we have 5 amp switch plug in room 5, switch plug in the corridor, pump room, filtration room and cooler room. Then we have switch plug in the switch room, switch plug on the balcony. Balcony, you see I said there was a balcony in here. 5 amp switch plugs in transformer room and corridor, and 50 volt unit in plant room. 5 amp switch plug in center corridor. Float switch for klaxon, so there we are. Number 8, float switch for klaxon. So a float switch means if it's flooding down here, or if the water level's getting up, a klaxon will sound so people know that they have to get that water out. Okay, and 9 is the emergency exit alarm. So there we go. Right, so now you've been told all the wiring in here. I expect you to be able to do a full report when we get out of here later. I expect a full report on my desk. Whoa! What's just happened to my? Oh no! My gimbal. What? The batteries on this have gone as well. Oh, you're kidding me. Well, if that's the case, oh my god, look at this switching equipment. Amazing. If the batteries have gone on this one, I'm going to have to go and switch to using my Dji Pocket, which will be a bit of a shame because you don't get it quite as good as this. So let's open up the iris a bit for you. Make it nice and clean. Oh, it's just gone off. It's just gone off. Shit. So that's not a good sign then, folks. I need to go back and get some batteries, so we will continue this in a minute. Wow. And so let's get the big boy out, big boy torch, and here we go again. So I'm going to be doing a few more of these walks because we're going to do the 360, not 360, the 3D a bit later on, so we will be coming back with the gimbal, with the 3D camera, because we believe in giving you the maximum viewing pleasure. I'm going to walk all the way to the other end now because we've already done most of this. So we're basically going straight down to see what's at the far end. And we're going to try and work out where that goes. So I'm just going to picture in my head. We come down the thing, we've come down this shaft. Okay, and now I think we're going across the field. Yeah, I can kind of try to picture it in my mind which way it goes. So all the way down. We might go for a little walk over here in a bit, but we shall see what the viability of that is. whether it's safe enough. There's not too much water underneath. We'll have to see whether we can walk across these I-beams safely. And we want to get up here into this viewing gantry platform, which would be kind of fun. In other words, up behind that wall. Now that might be a bit of a dangerous thing because the wood might be rotted out. So for some reason somebody's left a ladder here. Now that would give a clue to something, I'm sure. What would that mean? Here we are, other end, so we can have a walkway to the surface probably. Ooh, fans. Fan units. So this is the air section, which kept sealed off because this is where the air intakes come in and out. So there's holes down in the floor where the pipes are. Some of the concrete's been eaten away in some of these bits. Ah, ladders. Ladders. More air vent stuff and filter boxes. And sump pump. That's a sump pump, I think, or a compressor. That could be a compressor. But I also think it's probably, looks like a sump, that over the edge, doesn't it? Looks like it's a sump of some description. Yeah, it's a sump. Oh, something just dropped in there. Funny that. Timed well, that was. So here's another way potentially in and out, and look, this would have been a steps as well, you can see on the wall. So this would have been a steps, but this would have been a spiral escape steps. So what do we do here then, folks? Are we going to give it some with this camera? Oh my god, I don't think this is the best camera for doing this sort of climbing, but we will suffer and try nonetheless. Even though it's not the best camera for this sort of climbing, we will give it a go. Because we want to see where there's a long... Ooh, hang on. We want to see if there's a long walkway in and out of this place. So here we go, folks. Yeah. So you can see down there, you can see down the corridor and the way we came back in and out. There he is. So hopefully this ladder is good enough to do the job. There's a little bit of rust on some of the supports for this ladder, so it doesn't look brilliant. But, oh yeah. Oh shit. That's probably why you need ladder 2. Oh dear. Yeah. So this is not going to go very far then, folks. We're not going to go very far on this. Right, so this would have been an emergency escape. Oh Jesus! Oh my God! Oh my God! We'll never be getting up there. Wow! Oh shit! So yeah, there was an escape shaft then, folks, and we are definitely not going to be getting up there. Yeah, not really. I don't think so. So here we go off the edge, down where we just came from. And this camera is not exactly the right camera for the job for this, but we will try. We will try, because we've got no other choice at this point, because we have to get down. Now, I dare say they're not going to be too enamoured with people doing what I've just done here. So I think this ladder will probably be taken away after this to stop people doing what I've just done. So, oh shit. What's that noise? That did not sound good, folks. That did not sound good on this ladder. Didn't like the sound of that. See what I mean? It's like, do you see what I mean? A little bit rusted, you know, and those are the things that are actually holding the ladder up. So, not good. Not good. So there we are, right. So what else have we got down here then, folks? Let's have a quick look before we decide to head back. And I'm going to do some close-up work with the Dji Pocket just to give you some extra details because it does better focusing. That looks like a thermometer or a pressure gauge. And oops, sorry, I beg my pardon. That on the wall there is a pressure gauge, and that probably regulates whether the fan turned on or off, depending on pressure. So there we are. Bloody hell. And big old fan blades there. And yeah, the old the bits are still in there, the rubber bands, but they've kind of looked like they've turned to stone. So right, so let's get back up then. Let's have a little look at this doors from the other side. Wow. Right. There we go, folks. You have seen nearly all of it. I will go in there with the Dji Pocket camera in a bit, but let's head back up, get the Dji Pocket camera and come back down. Yep. Right then, I'm gonna pack this shit up for a minute. So, see you in a sec. Taking some 360 photos as well. So what about this then, folks? What's going on here? There's a gantry up there, but how do you get to it? Now, I'm not going to attempt this with this camera because I need both hands free. So I'm not going to attempt that. But let's go and see what's going on. So on scale, I would say this is like the Beachy Head rotor bunker. So smaller type. I don't know if that means it's an R1, but definitely smaller type. So there we go, folks. I like this. I like this tunnel. It's great. Let's get ready for 3D. Here we go. Here we are in the Portland bunker in 360. So here we go. And that's the lift shaft. Oops. Hang on then. That's the lift shaft and the pulley wires on the top. And then you've got the climb down. These ladders were installed, I believe, by English Heritage. So they are fairly modern ladders. And you can see along the wall where the steps would have been. So that would have been the original stairs up at an angle, going across to the right and going up again. So the stairs would have gone all the way around the edge of the room, and there's the nice view up, and there's the wiring. And then as we come down from the wiring, you get the amazing view into the abyss. So I was saying, I surmised when I was down there might be a projector room, and you've just confirmed it because...
Yeah, the projector room is where you were down there, it's full of water. That's about, the projector pit is about 12 foot deep.
Yep.
But there was never a Kelvin Hughes projector installed here, because I think they realised that it didn't work by the time they were spending all the money and the white elephant was let out the cupboard.
Yeah, I was saying it's unusual to have vents going down into a hole in the floor, so it must have been for a projector.
Yeah.
And would have been facing up, and then you had that balcony, and I was saying, oh, I wonder if we can get up on that balcony, and then I saw the steps, and I was like, I don't think we're going up there. Try. No, I think we'd be falling through the wood, really.
You'd be falling through the wood, falling through the floor, and probably drowning in the pit.
In the pit, yeah. We could swim, though, but it's still not a good idea.
If you didn't hit your head off the metal rafters.
Well, it's true. And yeah, not a good idea.
Yeah, even I haven't tried that one. First time I ever went down there, we're talking about 12 years ago now. About 10 years ago. Those steps were actually still there.
Oh, right.
And when we had a group in from Subterranea Britannica, 2014, that's when those steps disintegrated.
I wonder how that happened. I could guess.
Somebody got on them and they broke.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So, but I'm quite glad that they did,
Yeah, could stop anybody else doing it.
because no one else can go up there now, and I haven't attempted to.
No, it does look a bit crazy. I was saying that, it looks, when you look at the floors have gone in all the rooms,
Well, the floors were taken away.
they were actually taken, were they?
All the floors, when the MOD sold this site in auction in 2001, the MOD sent in teams, you'll see on the walls down there, decommissioning
2000.
teams, 2000, 2001, and they had to take out all the floors.
Right,
They were mahogany floors all the way through.
right.
So that's all gone. They took out all the wall panelling, which is why you've only got the
padding behind
padding
it.
that's behind the walls there now.
Was that mahogany as well? Was that expensive
I've
wood?
got no idea,
Right.
but it was like the wall panelling has gone. So floors are gone, wall panelling's gone, and they literally had to do that because of where the bunker is on Portland. It was above top secret, so they had to make sure there wasn't even a scrap of paper left down there.
It's interesting though, because I mean there was somebody sprayed in green paint 1975, and I thought, well, he must have been lucky to get in then and to be able to.
1975 was still owned by the MOD.
There we are, yeah. But it wasn't being used, is it? So that people had snuck in.
It went on fire in '69, and after the fire, it was just used basically for storage for the MOD.
Right.
And people wouldn't have got in there,
Right.
because the whole site, the top part of the site, was being used for MOD dog training. So they wouldn't have got. Anyone who was down there was let in.
Right. So you've got a photo here, which is, do you know the date of this photo?
1955.
Right.
So no, it's 1955 because the 209-foot aerial, this one,
Yeah.
which is above where our donkey house is now, is there. It was only there. It was built in 54, 55, and then late 55 they built another one over here, above the Verne. And the two aerials were only up together for about 5 or 6 months, and they interacted with each other, so they then blew this one up, knocked it down. So this aerial was only actually up for just about 18 months.
Right. And I can see there's a lot of this stuff here. This is an army base or something, is it?
This is the old Portland Naval Base.
Navy, right, okay.
So it's all the way around the harbour,
Yeah.
and all the way around. This is the old HMS Osprey. All the bits where they lived, where the lads lived.
Yeah.
And that one, this actual HMS Osprey, was demolished in the 60s, and they rebuilt new.
Right.
Then it's rebuilt again. Knocked down again when the Navy moved out. They've demolished it, and it's now a commercial port there.
Right.
It's now a big feed storage areas.
Yeah, I seem to remember, if I get this pointed up, I seem to remember this road is still there, isn't it, coming down from the
Road's
top?
still there, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a gate somewhere up here. there's a gate somewhere up here.
Yeah.
Stop you coming in.
Vicky Gate, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you can see some of these bits, and there's this stuff further down. Looks almost Victorian. Some of it down these bits.
The what they call e-battery Forbidden City is down over here, just off the picture.
Yeah.
These ones here have been covered up.
Yes.
With like barns to protect them.
Right. They're listed, are they?
Very listed.
Yes.
And in the Second World War, the Germans, I think it's either this one or that one, German prisoners of war graffitied them with German graffiti.
Wow.
So they've covered them up, they've like encased them in barns to preserve that, really.
Right.
If you look closely on here, you've actually got all of the.
There's a lot of detail in this photo, isn't it?
There's a hell of a lot of detail in the
high
photo.
resolution, yeah. So that's the POW lookout things, was it? When they?
No, that's the radars.
Oh, that's the radar. So
That's the radars on the top of the buildings. You can see the concrete buildings that are still here. These are the radars that are on the top.
Right. So were they rotating radars? I think I saw something underground. I said Type 54 or?
That one, Type 54 is that mast.
Right. Okay.
And then that one was fixed facing Ringstead, which is over on the mainland over there.
Right.
And these ones were rotating. So we've got them. There should be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There.
Right. Okay. Now, you have to excuse my ignorance, but is this Vern? Is this
That's
actually
the prison?
Is that still there? Is
That's
it?
the Vern.
Yeah, because it looks quite sparse compared to what I see up there now.
This bit here, outside of the Vern prison wall,
Yeah.
that's the old governor's house, and the accommodation for the staff all up here,
Right.
and then you've got the prison wall. You can see it in darker there,
Right. Yeah.
and then inside there, yeah, it's a lot less there then than there is now.
Now this is the gap, isn't it? So you
That's
you
the
kind
moat.
of you live sort of up here, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And is that the Crescent building there?
No, that is the emergency exit building,
Right.
which is out on the cliff,
Yeah.
and this is the moat that goes all the way along,
Yes.
goes all the way around the Verne. Basically.
Yes.
So, and you can see the height, you can see the base height there,
Yeah.
and then they built the bunker in the moat
Yes.
and then covered it up.
Ah, so it was actually built in first, then put on top of.
The majority of it, yes.
So like that.
The bits through the blast doors.
Right.
The tunnel, obviously the bit in the back of the house,
Yes.
down the tunnel
Further up this way, is it?
is right back here. Right.
Right.
Back up here.
Is that it there? Can you actually see it in this photo?
Not really.
It's kind of a bit obscured, but it's not that light coloured roof, is it?
No. It's directly behind the aerial there.
Ah, right.
So they would have gone down there under all this rock
Yeah.
where the tunnels is to go down, take you out into the moat,
Mm-hmm.
and then they built everything.
Okay, so does that mean then that if you look at this now, this looks about half the width in this section because it comes out and goes over the edge? So this is
No,
smaller.
It's half the height.
Half the height.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it is the bunker is the full width of the full
so
width
the
of
bunker
moat.
is just there then.
Yeah.
We can almost see behind that would be it. So it was
Yeah.
deeper in the past.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was deeper. And that's a quarry, it looks like, is it?
No, it's a moat. It's a dry moat because the Verne used to be a citadel.
Right, so they dug it out specifically for the Verne.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Wow.
And used the stone
Yeah.
in the breakwater.
Okay, excellent. So when we have a look at the drone footage, we'll have to point out that is.
You'll see
That's where the
it's all
bunker is.
very much overgrown. If you fly your drone up the moat,
Yes.
then you'll see it come up, go along,
Yep.
drop off,
Yep.
and then you get to the prison wall,
Yep.
and then it's the prison side of the moat. You'll see is a lot deeper than our side.
Right. Ah, interesting. You'd never think it to look at it, would you?
No.
You'd never think that was there, stuck in the middle. Sneaky. Very sneaky.
And if you go with this one, the old governor's house,
Yep.
because that was the commander's house for when it was a citadel, so late 1800s.
Right.
And they've got a sally port that goes down to here.
I was going to say what that looks like an entranceway.
Yeah, they've got a tube that goes all the way up through into their garden.
Right.
That they could get a team of 4 horses with a gun down through, and then there's a pathway that goes all the way around
Right.
and into the navy base.
Wow. There's a lot of tunnels throughout here, though, isn't there? I think there's tunnels on the far side of this.
No,
where
they're
hill.
not tunnels
Yeah.
as such in there. They're I can't remember what they call them.
Archways or.
Yeah, they're arches that go in,
Yes.
and then they're covered over, but they're all used as workshops and stuff within the prison now.
Right. So I remember a few years ago, between the prison being what it is now, it had a few years of being shut down.
6 months.
It was a short period, but in that time, a load of explorers managed to get in, and they got all through these tunnels and had a good look. And of course, you can't see them now.
Yeah, they opened it up for just a few days, really, during the B-side festival.
Right.
So you could get in and go down the spiral staircase.
Oh.
Down the spiral staircase, and then all the stuff on the south side. So it's not here.
Yeah.
It's the stuff round by that.
On the back side.
By the little bridge.
Right.
Over there.
Yeah.
So you go in the bridge, up the tunnel, and then in and round down the spiral staircase.
So any more mysteries on this this thing? Because most of this now, you can't really tell that anything was there, can you?
That's gone. If you look over the side now, there's 2 massive barns that they're just finishing building.
Yeah.
Which cover this whole site.
Yeah.
They are that big. They are absolutely massive.
Yeah.
If you look over the edge, you can see there's this L-shaped barn here and a little one.
Yeah.
And then this is huge.
Right.
Yeah. So this one's the old lift shaft that's now been removed, and the stairs that have now been removed.
Yep.
And so at the rear of that lift shaft is now the ladder that you climb down to get into the bunker.
Sure.
These ones here are that's a view from the south. With all the scanners and things on.
Was that the one that was blown up?
209-foot aerial, yeah.
That was the one that was blown up. And these are the radar scanners here, and there's obviously a spinning scanner there.
Yeah.
And these are stationary ones, is it?
I think there was one stationary and several spinning.
Yeah, that's definitely a spinning type, you can see there.
Yeah. And on that one, it's a very poor photograph, but the tower's actually on its side there. It's once it's been knocked down.
Yeah.
That one is the tower that's in the Verne.
So that's
Well, it was in the Verne.
the Verne prison. It used to have its own tower.
The other side of the Verne prison, just outside of the prison.
I think they've got some golf balls there now, haven't they? Some
Yeah, that's
radar.
a little bit further around. The golf ball's over here.
Right, okay. And then, that's the view down to
That's the view from
Portland
the top of the
Harbour,
tower.
1952.
Yeah.
And this one is 1953.
That's all the steel shutters that are inside.
And that was in your house?
No, that one is.
The little
Those ones
guardhouse
are in
by
the guard room.
Yes, it's on your way in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the guard room, and that's the guard room being built.
Oh, right. Okay. And just back here as well, it does actually. There's an interesting one. It says something about. I can't get that. There we are. This is the USA wireless radio station, which is the building we're in at the moment. This here is now used as a cafeteria, isn't it?
Visitor centre, yeah.
Visitor centre, yeah. They used to have a microwave station, yeah.
Yeah, there's 50 plus aerials in the field that the.
Wow.
And then that there.
This is the panoramic photo that was taken.
Panoramic photo that's taken by lots of different photos being stuck together from the top of the aerial in 1956. It says.
You can see there down into the harbour as well. So do you want to tell us a story about what happened to the guy who took...
Yeah, the gentleman...
1958 it's saying down there in the corner. Is it 58 or 56?
We don't know. The aerial that was up on here, some say that it was taken down in 53, some say it's taken down in 56, some say it's taken down in 58. So, the gentleman that brought me this picture, that obviously we photocopied, he was working here in the 50s. He climbed up the aerial, shouldn't have, and he fell top to bottom of the wooden mast, 209 feet, broke his back, but he survived it without any lasting injuries. he survived it to go and get his camera film developed.
Wow.
And then brought it up here on his motorbike about 6 or 7 years ago.
Right. Goodness.
And there he is at the top.
Oh my
of
God.
the aerial.
That's the guy that
I don't know if he's... No, this is a different guy.
Right.
So this is a different guy at the top of the aerial.
Right.
With the dish that was on top of the 209.
Yes. They're quite nice, aren't they?
Bunker.
Yeah.
We've got the dates are written on them somewhere.
Okay.
And that's the letter. The chap.
Thanks. So this is and this is the area where they put all the antennas and the bunkers, and this here is the gap. That's the gap, which is the moat, and the Verne prison starts up here and goes across this way, goes that way out. So you can see this is what it looked like before the antennas went in. SA wireless radio station, which is the building we're in at the moment, this here is now used as a cafeteria, isn't it?
Visitor centre, yeah.
Visitor centre, yeah.
They used to have a microwave station here.
Yeah, there's 50 plus aerials in the field that the.
Wow.
And then that there.
This is the panoramic photo that was taken.
Panoramic photo that's taken by lots of different photos being stuck together from the top of the aerial in 1956. It says.
You can see there down into the harbour as well. So do you want to tell us a story about what happened to the guy who took...
Yeah, the gentleman...
1958 it's saying down there in the corner. Is it 58 or 56?
We don't know. The aerial that was up on here, some say that it was taken down in 53, some say it's taken down in 56, some say it's taken down in 58. So, yeah, the gentleman that brought me this picture that obviously we photocopied, he was working here in the 50s. He climbed up the aerial, shouldn't have, and he fell top to bottom of the wooden mast, 209 feet, broke his back, but he survived it without any lasting injuries. He survived it to go and get his camera film developed.
Wow.
And then brought it up here on his motorbike about 6 or 7 years ago.
Right. Goodness.
And there he is at the top.
Oh my God.
Of the aerial.
That's the guy that
I don't know if he's... No, this is a different guy.
Right.
So this is a different guy at the top of the aerial.
Right.
With the dish that was on top of the 209.
Yes. They're quite nice, aren't they?
Bolter.
Yeah.
They've got the dates are written on them
Okay.
somewhere. And that's the letter. The chap.
Thanks. So this is and this is the area where they put all the antennas and the bunkers, and this here is the gap. That's the gap, which is the moat, and the Verne prison starts up here and goes across this way, goes that way out. So you can see this is what it looked like before the antennas went in.